4:15 p.m. I'm very well rested, reasonably well fed, by way of some, just a couple examples. A little bit of sheets, basically Timbits, fucking donut holes, some chocolate milk, eggs, some instant rice. Probably have some steak later today. Different, get some red meat protein in. But no, I feel fucking pretty damn good right now. So, very prepped. Actually, no, I kind of feel like shit. I'll get into that in a moment. But very prepped for a lift. But I've got a fucking sore throat. It's not ideal. Every time I fucking swallow, it just fucking hurts. Yeah. I don't think it's just from the cold. I probably just got exposed to some fucking germs or whatever. So not only am I training pecs and side delts, but my immune system is also getting hit nice and hard right now, trying to take out whatever the fuck is going on back there. But it's not so bad that I'm gonna skip the lift. Are you fucking crazy? Like, I will skip the lift if I'm sick enough, but I'd kind of have to be sick enough, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could definitely foresee somebody who doesn't really have that dog in them, who would have a fucking, just a little sore throat or whatever, you know, a little bit of a tummy ache, and then say, oh, hey, I better stay home and rest. I better stay home and rest. You know, come on, man, get real, right? Oh, you fucking asshole. Oh, my God. The chick almost tried to pull out in front of me. That would not have been, obviously, that would not have been ideal. No, so, oh my God, what the fuck was I about to say? That scared me. And I had the right of way, too, so, oh. I guess in the instance of any crash, as long as I'm not in the wrong, I've got it on at least a little bit of footage. But, no, yeah, what the fuck was I even about to say? She totally got me out of the groove. Oh, yeah. So I could totally foresee people skipping the gym for reasons which they really don't need to. I mean, I think if you kind of have a little bit of a, you know, maybe it's even just a subconscious thing, but, you know, if you're not really crazy about the gym, you might actually kind of be looking for excuses not to go. Like, oh, well, I'm going to be pretty busy. I'm only going to have an hour. I may as well just stay, you know, come on. The threshold of, let's just say, not, whatever. The threshold of things which can stop you from going to the gym, right? The crazier of a lifter you are, the higher that threshold has to be for you to say, okay, I really can't fucking go in. You know? And I think there's probably a correlation with your results to how high that threshold is. Maybe not direct, but somebody who's just going to skip the gym because they, you know, fuck man, they sneezed in the morning and they're feeling a little stuffy. There's no chance that that guy is going to be bigger than the dude who goes into the gym when he's fucking sick as a dog and feels like fucking, you know, running on 1%. I'm not going to say that training like that is going to be beneficial. You know, like, obviously, if you're really in a compromised state, like if I'm fucking dying sick, it's not going to do me any good to add that kind of stress to my body. It would be better to go in and, or to just stay home and rest. Like, there's a limit of sickness where training's not going to, you're just cutting into that recovery process, and you probably should stay back. But the guy who goes anyway, even though he still feels like shit, and even if maybe it's not the best move, right? Just as a discipline, mental toughness, whatever, you know, that's kind of going to be a good move, right? Kind of sort of just like the epitome of going in when you fucking don't feel like it. You know, having that mindset that nothing's going to stop you. So sure, that lift may not have been like super productive per se, but, you know, it just maintains your discipline, which you'll be able to carry on as time progresses, if you kind of get what I'm saying. Like, just to go through it, you're a tougher lifter. But whatever. I think you get the idea that I'm fucking yapping about. So chest and side delts, hour and a half, more than enough time. Chest first, I think, I don't know, the Smith machine's kind of calling my name. But it's been well, actually, I can't remember the last chest day where I didn't start off with heavy pressing. You know, over this last bulk, I've said this a pretty solid amount of times and pretty adamantly. You know, I was saying, like, I want to start all my lifts with, you know, after a proper warm-up, going as heavy as possible, right? Like, usually for chest, I warm up, and then I start with my heaviest set of bench. And then as I move on, I go lighter and lighter. You know, I'm kind of starting to think that might not be the exact right answer. I don't think it's bad, but just from doing that leg day yesterday, I didn't start off with, you know, my heaviest set of squats. I started with lighter leg extensions and then kind of moved into the weight. And I still felt like that was a perfectly productive lift, you know? So I think starting off really heavy is not a bad move, but it's also not bad to start with maybe a lighter movement, focus more on squeezing and whatever else, and then, you know, maybe go a little bit heavier mid-lift or whatever. So yeah, I think as time progresses, I'm starting to get a better understanding of, you know, how I want my workouts to line up and what I know is going to get me a solid pump, a good amount of stimulation, and then, you know, you combine those two factors with your fucking diet, some progress. So when I say shit, like when I talk about dieting tips, or, you know, if you ever catch me saying like a "you should" statement, you know, don't think that that is necessarily 100% accurate, you know, because all of this shit, for the most part, like, I take in information from like other, you know, lifters and other videos and like posts and whatever, but for the most part, all of my sort of thoughts and opinions on training, it's based off of the results that I've already got from trying specific things out for myself and seeing how they worked. You know, so that's what you should be doing in your own training, right? Don't just listen to so and so because he says this and that and whatever. Like, it's valuable information, but you have to be able to actually see it for yourself. You know, who gives a fuck if someone, quote unquote, knows how to build the best fucking physique? Like, he knows the best chest builders. You know, if you can't actually do it and apply it for yourself, then that hypothetical knowledge that you have is just total bullshit. Right? So, probably ending statement before we get in there is, you know, take information with a grain of salt, but at the end of the day, you've got to be responsible for figuring this shit out on your own. You know, I was a fucking completely uninformed lifter at one point, you know, kind of a fucking while ago, right? And I had the exact same fucking, what's the word? Like, information and tools, social media videos, whatever, at my disposal. So I was able to take in at least a solid chunk of information and then translate it to my own training. I think that's the best way to go about it. But I don't know. Maybe that's just because I don't like the idea of a coach telling me what to do. It's like, I want to do it how I want to do it, when I want to do it, and for why I want to do it. But of course, I want to try to do it in the best way possible. So in that sense, I do want help from watching other videos and lifters and, you know, whatever. So I think, oh, whatever, we're getting into a fucking ramble. Let's just fucking get in there. Okay, so I have been aware, or no, I have been made aware that today is in fact not Saturday, but Friday. So this gym closes at 6 on Saturday, but at Friday it closes at 8. So no more rush for me. I get to lift at my own pace. Perfect. So this is pretty much the pre-heavy pressing for chest ritual. Just go onto a cable and sort of do a little bit of a loop between tricep pushdowns, kind of like whatever you describe this kind of row as, and then sort of like a cross body pec press like this. So I'm not doing any work not going to failure. I don't feel like I'm fatiguing myself at all. But I am just trying to make sure that everything that's going to be moving around and coming into play during, be it incline dumbbell, incline Smith, hammer strength press, incline barbell, whatever, right? I want to make sure everything that I'm going to use is not only warm, but also feels good, right? If I can tell that for whatever reason, I totally wrenched my tricep, and like for whatever reason, everything going on down here, or maybe like some forearm stuff, it was just like flaring up, not having a good time. I could kind of sense that in the warm-up, and then I could, use that to kind of determine, okay, maybe I shouldn't do Smith machine, maybe I should start with cable press, or, whatever. So I'll probably sit here for another maybe 5 or so minutes, just warming up, So if you were curious what went down before my first set of actual like heavy pressing or whatever, this is pretty much it. And then I might do a little bit of front raises with the dumbbells, right, like this, just get my front delt activated a little bit, because in any incline pressing, really any pressing in general, your front delt is going to come into play. So if it's going to come into play, I want to make sure it's warm and feels good. But I'm going to sit here for a little longer, and then we can cut to the warm-up sets for either Smith or barbell bench. Not sure what yet. Typical, actually not even typical, just the starting weight for any pressing movement I'll do, at least with a barbell. Even on Smith too, just throw a plate on, throw it around for a couple, and then as long as everything feels good and I'm in the green, I'll just keep going heavier until I reach my working weight. That is a good sign. So now I go up to 2, 3, and then decide where to actually start. Okay, so that felt very comfortable. But since it is the beginning of the bulk, and my cut, well, the strength, like the weight I've been working with on the cut is 3 plates. Let's say hypothetically I had the strength right now to do 4 for maybe even a solid set. I mean, I don't think I could get more than 5, but I don't want to just jump straight into a crazy amount of weight out of nowhere. I mean, you're asking for trouble. So I think 365 will be a good starter.
Yep. 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 Keep going. Come on. Come on. Keep going. One more. One more. Here we go. Up, up, up.
Pull a little. Okay. Oh. Yeah, perfect, man. Nice.
Yep. Yep. That's like, come on. Come on. Keep working. Yep. Yep. Keep going. Come on. Couple more. Up. One more. Come on. Up. All you.
Okay. Thanks. Okay. Let's do 2 more like that. That's perfect. So now I'm going to get to like a point where it'll be like as many as I can do alone. And then like, don't just spot a little, like really kind of help for like 3 more. That'll be good.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Whew.
I was getting ready to do one more, but honestly, after that one, especially with those assisted reps, I think that's as much as I want to do on the incline bench. So again, it's not like I had a perfectly planned out workout routine before I came in here that I'm just following. You know, I am kind of judging what I'm going to do next kind of by feel. You know, obviously I'm lifted for a long time, so I can kind of make pretty smart decisions on, like, at least I can pick specific movements which I know are going to let me get a really good burn and then finish the lift with a good pump. So if you're in your first maybe year or so, it might not be your best move to just purely go by feel. Like, maybe write yourself out a routine, like 3 sets of incline, 3 sets of chest press, 2 sets of flies, or something like that, and then just stick to it over time. But the longer you lift, you'll be able to make these little on-the-fly adjustments, and you'll just know, like, okay, I know that incline Smith does not feel good for me right now. Let's do some hammer strength press or shit like that. But I think I'm gonna move on to, I don't know, something. I'll think about it. I gotta finish re-racking this weight first. All right, so next, still going relatively heavy, but this is kind of more of a squeezing movement. Just some bent over cable presses. I would love a machine where it's like just a seat with 2 cables here for me to press, but they don't have one here, and this is close enough. So almost a whole stack. Really just try to fucking burn out. One more. One more, a little lighter. Let's do a set of cable flies here. All right, so same machine, but just some minor adjustments, and now I get to do a whole new movement. Very efficient of me, if I say so myself. So with this first set, not gonna do anything fancy, just moderate weight, kind of a burnout. Now, when I do flies, here's my kind of logic as the set progresses. In the beginning, I do want to do a weight where I can actually touch my hands together for at least 5 or so reps. If you can't do any more than that, then I think it's probably a little bit too heavy. I know that's sort of a weird thing for me to say, but you know, at least 5 reps, good, touch my hands. But once I can't touch my hands together, I'm not just gonna stop the set, I'm gonna keep burning out. Ideally, I wanna get to a point where I can't even move. Now, you can still always get some baby partials out, so you kind of have to end the set like when you know you've done enough. But sometimes I like doing the cable flies here more than I like the pec deck, just because I feel like sometimes the pec deck, it tweaks my shoulders a little bit. Something about the movement path I don't love. But enough chatting. Let's just do it. Okay. Okay. One more. Oh, fuck. Dude. Fucking hair in my mouth. Gross. Okay, I know I just talked smack on the pec deck, but I want to finish with a drop set of cable flies over there. But I didn't want to do 3 sets of cable flies, you know, for reasons unknown. I just didn't feel like it. So instead of doing another set of cable flies normal before the drop set finisher, I'll just come over here and do a set of pec decks. It's just a different movement, or a different feeling, I mean. Okay. Let's do a drop set finisher and then we go check the chest pump. Normal flies to start, straight up set, whatever, failure close enough, burn out like this. And then I'll drop the weight by about half. And then the same logic, like I'm still gonna do flies, but I'm gonna bend over a little bit. And with these flies where I'm standing up, I don't mind swinging a little bit. I don't mind a little bit of body language. But on this finisher, when I do these bent over flies, I'm not trying to swing at all, especially with the lightweight. All I'm trying to focus on is sending signals to my fucking chest to pull my elbows together. And, you know, fast forward about 1 minute once the set is done, and this pump will be complete. Okay. Let's find some solid lighting. All right, so let's make this quick because this lift is not yet over. I've still got side delts, but chest is fully pumped, so obviously we got to take a break, pause the sets, and take a look at what we're working with. Okay. Oh. That feels rather holy shit. I swear, looking at yourself in the mirror in pictures, I don't know, man. It's a little bit fucking different. Sometimes in the mirror, I feel like I look bigger. Sometimes I look bigger on the pictures. You know, don't get too... Well, for one thing, just in general, don't get too fucking attached with, like, how you look. Like, if I was a fucking... Let's just say I was prone to some more body dysmorphia, and I got really attached to, like, looking super striated and veiny, it would be fucking impossible for me to bulk. Because I'd be like, oh crap, I don't want to lose my abs. I don't want to lose my veins. Fuck. You know, so just I'd say it's probably a good idea to just correlate your effort with the value of your lifts. But enough. I feel like I'm losing track there. Let's just fucking flex. Oh. 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 Man, fuck, what else is there? Most muscular? I feel like such a meathead doing that one. No, but we've so chest thoroughly annihilated. Pretty satisfied with the with the intensity, plus well fed, well hydrated, so the results were pretty good too. And I got a ton of rest. Not only last night, but also today. I was just fucking sleeping the whole time, which was nice. So, one thing that is kind of a little bit of something you should keep in mind is don't just get rid of your fucking old tanks or old pump covers or your clothes or anything like that, because you can use that as a fucking measurement of your fucking progress. You know, I'll see if I remember to splice in a fucking picture of me. Maybe right here I'll try to splice it in if I fucking remember. But it's me as like a 180 pounder, and I'm wearing this exact same fucking shirt in a McDonald's. Pretty solid difference. That is if I fucking find it. But yeah, man, this shit used to be baggy on me, and now it's not. So, you know, obviously record your weight over time. Maybe record your fucking, you know, your cold and pumped arm measurements over time. Right? I'm not too anal about like tracking all my lifts, because I kind of just have a good mental gauge of my strength. So when I think about like my progressive overload or so, I kind of just remember it in my head. I don't have a little training notebook or anything like that. But it's good to track your shit sometimes, just because you can look back over it. As long as you were reasonably disciplined for a long enough period of time, then you can see a fucking trend line. So, enough of that little progress rant. Let's go spam some side laterals of, well, I don't know. I might just do one movement. I'll have to see how I feel after a couple sets on the seated side lateral machine. So I'm thinking I'm just gonna sit here for at least 4 sets, maybe longer. I'll just show the first whole set and then maybe splice the next 3 together. There's not really much to say about side laterals, whether it's a machine or with dumbbells or with like single arm on a cable. Really all you're trying to do is go from here to here, squeeze your fucking side delt, and try not to use your traps too much. You know, if you're doing a set and you're really feeling your traps, then I think you're just moving your actual shoulder joint around a little bit too much. Like I'm trying to keep my, my shoulder socket in the exact same place and just rotate my arm by flexing my side delt. That's all I'm really trying to do here. So let's just jump through these and see if I want to change it up or just sit here for the whole shoulder workout. Okay. Okay. Let's do some normal dumbbell side laterals now. Okay. Let's go see how the fucking side delt pump looks. All right, so just through the shirt, they're fucking poking out. How's the covered lat spread look? Oh, dude, even just sitting here holding the fucking flex of the lat spread, it's fucking burning my side delts. Oh my goodness. Which is a good sign, of course. I'm not complaining. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Not the freakiest lighting. I wanted to go back to where I posed down for chest, but there's There's a bunch of dogs over there hitting their actual workout instead of just sitting flexing. So I guess they've got the right to the space, as they should. Oof. Dude, yeah, fuck, man. Even without a rear delt pump, they're looking pretty fucking bulbous. Sick. Yep. It's fucking hard for me to reach around to even do a side tricep shot. No. Oh my goodness. What yeah, front lat spread, rear lat spread, and then double by. I think that's about right. Oh. No, oh my goodness. Yeah. Fucking chest and side delts. Fucking complete. So, that's pretty much all I gotta say, man. There's nothing much to say for me for side delts. I mean, those sets weren't even like balls to the wall intensity, just because that's not so necessary for my current, let's just say, situation. Just because for me, my shoulders are already pretty much a strong point for me. I don't need them to get too much bigger. So really, I'm just trying to get a pump. But no, they still fucking burn, you know. So they definitely got a solid amount of stimulation. So I'm gonna go camp out on the calf raise machine for a little bit. But let's just get in the car, man. We're done. There we go. Yeah, I fucking caught myself on that one. No, so after calves, which I don't like the seated calf machine at this gym. It really just doesn't do it for me. Something about it, I don't know, whatever. So instead, I just did calf raises on the leg press, which that's a freaking variation I love doing. But whatever. So 8 sets there, moderate weight, solid ass pump. I sit down for a little bit before I left, and I stood up. Both calves cramped up like hell. I was like, what the fuck? Dude, I fucking never get cramps. Then I remembered I didn't have any of my fucking electrolyte drinks today. It's fucking literal tangible evidence. No electrolytes and probably not as hydrated as I should have been. You know, I did not drink enough fluids today. And it literally fucking resulted in the one of the classic detriments of being dehydrated, a fucking cramp. Man, that fucker hurt too for a minute. Like, it was hard to walk. So I gotta get home and yeesh, I need some fluids, some calories as well. I'm sure I'll make some kind of something, some kind of freaking something. Not really sure what. I'll have to scour the kitchen, but I'm sure some ground beef, potentially some eggs. You know, I haven't had soft boiled eggs for a while. I like those a lot because that's fucking easy to get down. You know, you fucking, yeah, man, it's been a while. No, those are good. 5 minutes. I have to look it up, I forget. But I'm pretty sure 5 minutes steamed, and then they're just done. White's fully cooked, yolk's still runny. And, I mean, you can eat a fucking egg in one bite. And that's 6 grams of protein and 5 grams of fat. So if you put 6 or fucking honestly, even 12 soft-boiled eggs in front of me with like some Tabasco and some salt and pepper, that'll disappear in like 3 seconds. And that's what? I mean, let's do the math. Let's just say 10 for simplicity. 60 grams of protein, 50 grams of fat. So 4, that's like 700 calories right there, man. You know, I mean, nothing wrong with scrambled, but, you know, in a bulking context, I want to eat foods that are easy to get down. So if I'm going to have eggs, yeah, I don't want to sit here and just like scoop them out of a bowl bite by bite with a fork or a fucking spoon. Yeah, I've been fucking slacking, man. I got to get the soft boiled eggs going again. Maybe I'll probably make that tonight now that I'm thinking about it. And that pretty much fits my, my criteria for a solid protein source too. I mean, look, you're gonna get proteins from, vegetable sources or like vegan sources, whatever, like soy protein, Obviously, there's dudes who are vegan. At least, let's just say if they're actually vegan. I'm sure there's probably some chicanery going on there a little bit sometimes. But let's say you got an actual vegan dude, they can get pretty big, doing their soy protein, whatever. But I just don't think it compares to, actual beefs, chicken, eggs, rice, dairy. No, what am I saying? Rice, chicken. Yeah, I said chicken, it instantly made me say rice. No, meats, chicken, turkey, fish, eggs, dairy, animal proteins. I think that's where your best bet is. I've been doing a lot more red meat as of late, and I've been feeling pretty fucking good, man. The animal fats, real high in, real nutrient dense. I'm not going to come out as a, you know, as somebody who's, doing the carnivore diet or anything like that. But I think they're fucking onto something. You never see headlines of people who, die of nutrient deficiencies because they're eating too much red meat. It's typically like, this is kind of a niche reference, but it'll be like, some vegan or whatever who's only eating, I don't know, fucking whatever kind of food, like, had to be hospitalized and IV'd nutrients because they're eating a diet that didn't hit all their micro and macronutrient needs. So I think that's enough of that little talk. I totally just lost track, but whatever. So chest thrashed, side delts fully pumped, calves stimulated on as close to a daily basis as I can get. Sometimes I'm going to skip them if I'm in a rush, but for the most part, if I've got time, at the end of every lift, 8 sets of calf raises of, pretty legit intensity, enough that I really do get a pump, and each set, has a solid burn. I feel like I've said this a bazillion times, but I think calves are going to benefit from daily stimulation. I don't think that for all muscles, right? If I did, then I would be doing fucking chest every day, and I'd be doing like full body workouts. But no, you're walking around in your calves all day. They're used to being worked. I think that, at least reasonably frequent, like every couple days, is in your best interest. So, go home, get some food going, get a good night's rest, early cardio in the morning. I'm definitely going to go in the sauna after cardio because this gym has one, which I like. It's not like I don't know. There's probably some benefits, when you think about like fitness gurus talking about hot cold therapy, stuff like that. But really, I just kind of do it because I like it. Kind of feels good to sitting there after cardio. If I had one at the gyms that I go to when I'm at school, then I'd be in there fucking at the end of every cardio session in the morning as long as I have time. But I don't know. With stuff like that, I just kind of like it. I just kind of fucking like it. So I think that's pretty much all I gotta freaking say, man. I don't have any. I don't have any other topics to discuss. We're getting about 1 week into the bulk now, or is this day 8? I don't know. But start weight was what, 232, and now we already bounced up to around 243, 244. I didn't have a scale today, but yesterday was 242. So low 240s. I mean, we're getting close to the weight that the last bulk ended on. So that sort of tells me not too much muscle loss, and I'm approaching my fully carved up state. It takes a little while to get there, but once I'm fully carved up, all my fucking muscles are full of muscular glycogen or whatever, shit like that, then that's when my weight is going to stop just skyrocketing, and it'll turn into more of a slow gain over time as the bulk progresses. Of course, daily cardio is going to help me get my food down because it's going to improve my metabolism just from burning extra energy throughout the day. And I won't get so fucking, I won't put on body fat so easily as well because I'm burning extra calories throughout the day with the cardio. So, can't stress it enough, but make sure you train hard. And if you got that little itch in the back of your mind, like, maybe I should be doing my cardio, take responsibility. Come on, get in there. It's not that hard. But enough cardio preaching. Let's go our separate ways. Either go to bed, go lift, finish the lift that you're doing right now, or go fucking eat a meal. You know, I don't know. If you're watching this video, I feel like those are the only states of being: pre-lift, mid-lift, post-lift, or eating. Which, not a bad fucking situation. So, I'll fucking see you next time.